If you saw SmackDown tonight, and if you thought that SmackDown was a mid-show, if you thought that SmackDown tonight was a complete missable show, hit that like button and leave a comment down below what you thought of SmackDown tonight. I thought SmackDown tonight, in my honest opinion, was a complete missable show. Mid at best. We got some good on the show, some bad on this show tonight. Trust me, we'll go over it. But the most intriguing part of SmackDown tonight was the ending of that show. With Jimmy Uso calling out Jay, Sami coming out, and then Jay coming out towards the end. I have more questions than answers. We'll get to that part of the show as we review the show tonight. I have more questions than answers, especially when Roman Reigns is coming to SmackDown next week in Washington, D.C. There's going to be complete fucking chaos when the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, returns to SmackDown next week. I have more questions than answers here. I hope we get those questions answered next week on SmackDown. But one question I want to ask for sure, why wasn't it Reigns on this show tonight? SmackDown could have used Reigns tonight. But it is what it is. We'll get Reigns next week in Washington, D.C. I thought SmackDown tonight was a complete missable show. It was mid at best, if you ask me. But we're going to go over everything on this show tonight for your Friday, February 24th, 2023. If you guys don't know who I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought that SmackDown tonight was a complete missable show or mid at best, hit that like button, leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show tonight. What did you think of the ending of the show tonight? And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. Monday Night Raw review is live on the channel right now. Link to that video will be not only down below in the description, but also in the annotation that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen. Also, I did not review Dynamite this past Wednesday because honestly, I didn't feel like it. But also, if you guys want to check out my Elimination Chamber review, it's live on the channel right now. Link to that video will be down below in the description and also in the upper hand corner of your screen. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you guys can do so. Twitter, @TheRealChris, with 2 E's and two S's. 2 E's, 2 S's, yeah. TikTok's the same thing. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. Let's go over SmackDown tonight. SmackDown kicked off. SmackDown opened up with the recap of Sami Zayn's attempt to dethrone Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber and the fallout from that on Raw this past Monday in Ottawa. Jimmy Uso arrives at the arena and runs right into an interview with Kayla Braxton. He says he hasn't spoken with Jay yet, despite reaching out and telling him that whatever he needs to get off his chest, he can look him in the face and tell him. Did we get that on the show tonight? Find out and see. SmackDown kicked off with a six-man tag team match. Braun Strowman, Madcap, and Ricochet against Imperium. Giovanni, Vinci, GUNTHER, and Ludwig, Kaiser. I thought this six-man tag was good for what it was. You know, everyone got this shit in. And again, I love Imperium. I do. I love Imperium. They're just so fucking good. So Imperium wins here in this six-man tag. So I'm going to cover this match coming out of commercial break. So coming out of commercial break, Ricochet's trading strikes to Kaiser. A big lariat gets Ludwig for a 2 count. GUNTHER tags in and hammers him with a big chop. Again, I've been saying this since I've been covering the show for the last week. You cannot pay me all the money in the world to take a fucking chop from GUNTHER. You just fucking can't. Just can't. As Drew McIntyre comes out of the entranceway to watch from the stage. We'll talk about that in just a second. Ricky, with an enziguri, the ring general responds with a stomp and attack to Giovanni. Hot attack to Strowman, clubbing Kaiser down, and he and GUNTHER get into the striking fight. The ring general looks for a Gojira clutch. There you go. A shotgun dropkick leads to Moss getting the tag and hammering him and punches in the corner. Off the ropes, he clears Kaiser off the apron, but it's a big chop, a German suplex, and a lariat. Gunther gets him up as Imperium picks up the victory with a powerbomb from Gunther to Madcap Moss. Post-match, the Viking Raiders attack Drew from behind, throw him into the barricade. The beatdown continues until Sheamus makes a save, and the Bayfaces overcome and stand tall. I know we're getting a 20-man battle royal on the MSG show to determine who will face Gunther at WrestleMania. I'm guessing it's at WrestleMania for the IC title. If Sheamus is in there, if Sheamus is in that battle royal, I'm thinking he's winning that battle royal. But my question is obviously, why would you put that match on a house show? And I'm guessing to fucking sell out the show, I'm guessing. Well, you can put that on a Friday Night SmackDown next week. You want to load up SmackDown next week, put that battle royal on SmackDown next week. But I understand why they did it, why they put it on the MSG house show in March, on the Road to WrestleMania house tour that's going to be at Madison Square Garden in a couple weeks. Is Drew McIntyre going after the IC title also? Why is Drew McIntyre coming out to the entranceway? Sorry about that. Why is Drew McIntyre watching this match from afar? I don't know. I mean, I am intrigued with a Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Gunther Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania. I'm intrigued by that. But at the same time, what if Drew doesn't get into the IC title match at WrestleMania? What do you have Drew do at WrestleMania? What do you do with him? Outside of that, what do you do with Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania? And again, I have to say this. I love Drew, don't get me wrong, but since the pandemic, you know, his stock has fucking plummeted ever since the pandemic. He got fucked over. He's the one that got fucked over the most out of everybody else during the whole pandemic. And that's just unfortunate for Drew. But again, what is Drew McIntyre doing at WrestleMania? You better put him in a high leverage match going into WrestleMania. That's all I'm saying here. But the 6-man tag was okay for what it was. I liked it. Imperium wins, keep them strong. And of course, keep Gunther strong going into WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio is interviewed backstage. He says he's going to put an end to Karrion Kross once and for all until Santos Escobar rolls up and says there's one thing he and his family value, and that's respect. He's had the honor of earning a match from Rey, and he wants to show the WWE Universe how much he respects him. Rey says that's a mutual feeling, but before they can shake on it, Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley roll up. Dom talks some trash, and Santos tells him he'll teach him respect. Dom spouts off about prison, and Escobar laughs before getting in his face. But it's not his face, it's rather Rhea's, and the Judgment Day mockingly wish Mysterio luck in his match tonight against Karrion Kross. Santos tells him not to let it bother him, but Rey says it's his son. How could he not be bothered? It's true. It's true. We'll talk about Rey and Dominic when we get to their matchup in the review. Back from commercial, Jimmy Uso's talking to Solo Sikoa about how's everything gotten so crazy. A few weeks ago, he knew Jay was going to come help defend the titles, but since Montreal, he thinks things might be different, and he might be spooked by the whole Sami thing. Paul Heyman comes over to sit with him and says, if that's the case, maybe Solo should stay back here while Jimmy handles this Uso to Uso personally. We'll talk about that as we go to the end of the show, going towards the end of the show here. LA Knight makes his entrance and gets on the mic. Listen, I love LA Knight. I love LA Knight, but I gotta ask this question. What the fuck is he doing at WrestleMania? I said this on Twitter. LA Knight, he's got it. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. He's so good. If the Money in the Bank ladder match was at WrestleMania, I would 100% have LA Knight win the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. But we have to wait till at least July for that to happen. Because I do think LA Knight is winning Money in the Bank, in my honest opinion. I think LA Knight is winning Money in the Bank in July in the UK. Which, by the way, tickets came out today in the UK for Money in the Bank at the O2 Arena. Sold out in less than a minute. Sold out in less than 1 minute. That is fucking incredible. You wouldn't see that if Vince was still in charge of creative. Now that Triple H is in charge, everything is up. Everything is up. And I fucking love it. Everything's up and I fucking love it. So LA Knight makes his entrance, gets on the mic. He says it's the season that everyone's back here talking about WrestleMania moments. But he didn't come here for moments. He came here to make money and win titles. And you do that by getting to WrestleMania. You can't have an LA WrestleMania. You can't have an LA WrestleMania without LA Knight. I agree. I fucking agree. And what that means is that he's going to give WrestleMania an LA Knight moment. Here comes a new day. Kofi Kingston points out LA's only been on the roster for like 2.5 months. So who is he to be demanding anything right now? Knight doesn't recall inviting Nerd Day down here and says if they weren't so busy playing video games, they might realize they're looking at a perpetual motion machine megastar. Again, I agree. Xavier Woods points out that being nerds has made them a hell of a lot of money, and they can tell he loves handouts given the fake leather vest he's wearing. WrestleMania moments aren't given out, they're earned, like Kofi working for 11 years for his moment back in 2019. Which I agree, that was one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time. LA Knight says he doesn't care about their path because he's a creator of circumstance. And how would Kofi Mania work out for Kofi anyway? Wow. That was the greatest comeback I've ever seen in my entire life. Ludwig in the ring, and Kofi says it worked out pretty well, given that he won the coveted WWE Championship and all. Yeah, but Kofi, how did that go in October of that year? You lost to Brock in 5 seconds. So tell me, Kofi, how did that really work out? Oh, you lost to Brock Lesnar in 5 seconds. Yeah, Kofi, sure. He won't wait for a chance to shut LA up, and the match is proposed. Referee Jason Ayers comes out to officiate, and we go to break. So that's where we get Kofi Kingston versus LA Knight one-on-one here on SmackDown. I'm not going to go over this matchup because, in my honest opinion, I did not like this match at all, and I'll tell you why. Just know Kofi won with Trouble in Paradise. Why is LA Knight losing here? Can I ask that question here? LA Knight is legitimately one of your biggest stars on the roster. It's one of the biggest stars on the roster. Why is he losing matches? You got The Miz on Monday Night Raw losing to future stars. Now you got LA Knight using the fucking Kofi Kingston. Don't get me wrong, I like Kofi, don't get me wrong. I like Kofi. But why is LA Knight losing here? We're like, what, 6 weeks to go to WrestleMania? What is LA Knight doing at WrestleMania? What is he doing? He's legitimately one of the biggest stars on the fucking roster, if not the entire company. And you're not building him up for a match at WrestleMania? By now, you should be finding out who should face LA Knight at WrestleMania. Again, it's not a fucking LA WrestleMania without LA Knight. And I agree. Unless if LA Knight is a guest host of WrestleMania. Outside of that, I don't know what the fuck you do with him. Sound off in the comment section, guys. What would you do with LA Knight at WrestleMania? We're going to break on promises of a face-to-face between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. So coming back for commercial break, Charlotte Flair makes her entrance and gets on the mic. It's 35 days to WrestleMania. She can't wait to hear what Rhea Ripley says to her face and calls her down. No response. Flair says she smells hesitation and asks if Rhea remembers the last time they were in the ring together. It's okay to be scared and have second thoughts. So enter, here comes Dominic Mysterio, crossbowing him like crazy. He's not going to let the Queen run down his mommy. And she compliments him on following orders, but tells him to go get Rhea instead of hiding behind her boy toy. Dominic says she sounds bitter because she knows Ripley is the hottest thing in World Wrestling Entertainment right now, and no other woman has won the Rumble from number one. That's a good point. Mysterio tells her to smile more often, gross, and takes about how women are the softer, more delicate sex, but Rhea is so strong she damn near breaks his back when she hugs him. And when she makes sweet Charlotte cuts him off to say she has a real Latino man at home who calls her mommy with such a thicker accent. Shout out to my boy Andrade. El Idolo. There you go. It's my boy. So she doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Dominic says he just wanted to chat because they both have a lot in common. They're both generational superstars and no one is like to be compared to their fathers while being better than and surpassing them. He spins a tale about how when she loses at WrestleMania, she'll know her dad was right and she's just not good enough. Charlotte says she loves her dad, unlike him, and he's 74 tomorrow, and if he were here, he'd kick Mysterio's butt, but since he's not, she will. So just when Charlotte was about to kick Dominic's ass, Rhea comes down, saves her guy from getting destroyed by the champ, but they slide right back in the ring where Charlotte holds the title high. And from there, this segment ends from there. Watching this segment tonight between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair automatically tells me one thing. They should not main event night one of WrestleMania. I'm probably going to get heat for that. At the same time, I don't care. Because in my honest opinion, you look at this whole damn build. Yeah, it's impressive that Rhea won the Rumble coming out number one. It's impressive. Don't get me wrong. I love Rhea. Again, don't get me wrong here. But Charlotte just came back on New Year's Eve, wins the SmackDown Women's Championship in her first match back. What makes you think I'm going to sit there and care about a Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, night one main event of WrestleMania? Looking at this segment tonight automatically tells me this one thing. Rhea and Charlotte does not belong in the main event of WrestleMania for night one. Another thing that I did not like about this segment, Rhea didn't even talk at all. Yeah, but she did a talking on Raw Monday, sure, but they're face to face. Rhea and Charlotte are face to face. The least Rhea can do is talk to Charlotte face to face about how Rhea wants revenge after what happened 3 years ago at WrestleMania, when Charlotte put Rhea in her place. That's the least you could have done for me there. But no, you had Rhea come to SmackDown tonight to protect Dominic Mysterio from an ass whipping from Charlotte Flair. Why didn't Rhea just come out and cut a fucking promo on Charlotte, who's right there in her face, by the way? I'm saying this now, I don't think Rhea and Charlotte main event night one of WrestleMania. If anything, I'm putting the Usos against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania to main event night one to give Sami Zayn his WrestleMania moment. That's just me. That's just me. Give me a second here. Oh, that's my Steam. Okay, we go. We see footage of Adam Pearce telling Natalya it's up to her if she fights, but she needs to be mindful of her injuries recently. Tegan Nox is there and says she'll have Natty's back, and Pearce goes to make it official. As Natty makes her entrance, we go to break as Natalya goes one-on-one with Shayna Baszler. Look at my face and ask me if I cared about this match. No. I did not care one solitary bit about this match tonight. Did not. Just know Shayna Baszler wins by submission with the Kross armbar. Do you care? Do you honestly fucking care? And again, I'm going to say this now, and again, I just don't care. Shayna Baszler, coming out of NXT, was so fucking dominant. Look at her now. It's night and fucking day. It's night and day. I compared Ronda Rousey last week on the SmackDown review, how 2018 and 19 Ronda was better than this version of fucking Ronda Rousey. Shayna, if anything, is the same thing. She just doesn't care. And if you're not going to care, I'm not going to care either. Post-match, Baszler blasts Tegan Knox off the apron with a big boot. Again, do you care? No. Where is this going? I don't know. We get a hype wheel for the WrestleMania Goes Hollywood skits, and we go to break. I love that Seth Rollins Becky Lynch skit for that WrestleMania commercial. I fucking love it. With that movie trailer, love it. I wonder what they're going to do next week. Back to commercial, and we get a weird meta episode of the Firefly Funhouse, with footage of Bray watching his own promos and a segment from the Firefly Funhouse studio about the door opening. Uncle Howdy doing the weather, a clip of a show called Can You Keep a Secret, footage of the open door with wacky video footage underneath. And finally, Uncle Howdy asks us if we can keep a secret if he tells us a story. I guess. We go to break here. Now, before we review the Dominic Mysterio Karrion Kross match, are we getting Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt WrestleMania? I wouldn't mind it. If it gets Bobby on the show, sure. I love Bobby Lashley. But then again, this Bray Wyatt situation here, I don't know. Listen, I was a fan of Bray Wyatt going back to fucking 2013 with the Wyatt family and then The Fiend. I love The Fiend, but Vince fucked up The Fiend. I don't know about this version of Bray Wyatt. I mean, I'm okay with it. Sure, don't get me wrong, I'm okay with it. With the Wyatt 6 and everything, the potential Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas tag team could potentially happen. You know, with his real-life brother, Bo Dallas, could potentially join the Wyatt 6. That, I don't mind. Sure. I don't mind it. But what is Bray Wyatt doing at WrestleMania? He just does, I don't know about you guys, but he doesn't feel as important to me as he once did back in 2019 with The Fiend. Wyatt just doesn't look important to me right now. I mean, he looks important. He just doesn't feel important to me. Let me know how you guys feel about that. I can't put my finger on Bray Wyatt right now. Like, if he's not doing one thing, he's doing another. I don't know. And it's weird for me to say that because I love Bray Wyatt. I love Bray Wyatt here. Back for commercial break, we get some hype for ticket sales for Money in the Bank again. Money in the Bank sold out in less than a minute in the UK today at the O2 Arena. That's very impressive. To sell out in less than a minute? I mean, again, I think Money in the Bank and the ladder match should be at WrestleMania, but I don't know why it's having its own pay-per-view. It's a gimmick match. It's a gimmick match. It's a ladder match. Again, I don't mind that Money in the Bank is going to be in the UK. I don't mind it. I know how rowdy and how loud the UK crowd could be. I love the UK. I love their crowds. But if it were up to me, I'd have this Money in the Bank ladder match and I'd put it back at WrestleMania. That's what I'd be doing. I don't know what Triple H is doing, but that's just me. We get Karrion Kross and Rey Mysterio one-on-one. This match was good for what it was. It was alright. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad at all. Mysterio in with forearms. Below Briggs sends Kross to the floor. Off the ropes. Northern 619 off the ropes again with a suicide dive, and we go to break. Back for commercial break. Back for commercial break. Kross is in control. Block the boot on the charge, and he hoists Mysterio up, but gets countered with a Tahiras into the turnbuckle. See the senton follows off the ropes, but Kross trips him and sends him crashing to the floor. Gutbuster on the floor, back inside, famous carry. Kross heads up top. The Ray slips out of it and hits the avalanche Frankensteiner. Claws in the corner. Nope. Dominic runs interference and Karrion Kross takes full advantage of it. Karrion Kross wins by submission with the Kross jacket. Post-match, Dominic confronts his father, tries to get him into hitting him, shoving him repeatedly. Ray steps to his son and goes chest to chest, ready to unload on him, but the better angles of his nature went out, so Dom spins him back around, takes another crack at getting him to fight. Ray kicks the bottom rope in frustration and leaves the ring. I think if you ask me, and I said this on Twitter earlier, I wouldn't mind a one-on-one match between Dominic and Ray at WrestleMania. But it would be a whole lot better if we get Dominic and Karrion Kross against Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. I wouldn't mind that tag team match at all. And hell, if this gets Santos Escobar on the card, and if this gets Karrion Kross on the card as well, so fucking be it. But again, not everybody deserves to be at WrestleMania's card. If you was to ask me and you want to book that tag team match, put it at night one. Put it at night one. Sure. I wouldn't mind this tag team match, though. I wouldn't mind either that or a one-on-one match between Ray and Dominic. I wouldn't mind it either. But Ray versus Karrion Kross was a good match for what it was. It was pretty good for the time that they got. Closing segment of Friday Night SmackDown. Backstage, Jimmy Uso is looking at his phone before getting up and walking to send us to break. Back for commercial, we get some hype for Roman Reigns' return next week, plus a couple matches confirmed for next week. Jimmy Uso makes his entrance and gets on the mic. From brother to brother, he knows Jay's hurting, and when he's hurt, Jimmy hurts. But he's just wanting to tell him he'll always be here for him. He knows there's been issues and everything's been crazy. They've had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens problems. He knows Jay has issues with the Tribal Chief, but he can't do this alone. Sami Zayn jumps the barricade and gets in the ring. He says he's not here to fight. And he knows Jimmy's here to talk to Jay, but he liked to as well. But right now, he's here to talk to Jimmy. Every time he uses the word brother, it breaks Sammy's heart because they were like brothers. They were dogs. And Jimmy had his back from day one. When Jay didn't trust him, when Paul Heyman shoved him aside, Jimmy was there for him. Jimmy fumes at him. Jimmy made him the honorary Us, and without him, there's no Sammy Uso. And there's no Philly Usi. And at the Royal Rumble, Jimmy didn't even think twice before taking him down, and that hurt Sammy. Jimmy fumes at him before calling him selfish for trying to blame him for it. He says Sammy made that choice. He had the chair, he pulled the trigger, and he stepped on him and on Jay. What was he supposed to do? Sammy made a choice, and Jimmy did what he had to, because that's family. Sammy says family doesn't test your loyalty every week or jump through hoops just to prove something. They don't manipulate you every week. Jey Uso appears on the steps, leaning down the crowd. Sammy makes his pitch to Jimmy, trying to offer him a way out of the manipulation and abuse, and Jimmy jumps him. Jay makes his way down to ringside, but Zayn wakes up and hits the haluva kick to Jimmy. Sosa Cole comes to ringside. Sammy runs away through the crowd right as Jay gets to the barricade, and the two of them share a look. Solo and Jimmy stand together in the ring while Jay and Sammy look pensive in different parts of the crowd. And from there, the show went off the air. This closing segment of SmackDown tonight was very, very good. A lot was told, especially on Sammy's side and on Jimmy's side as well. The closing segment of the show tonight was very, very good. But I have a question. With Roman Reigns coming to SmackDown next week in Washington, D.C., I know there's going to be complete chaos. But Jay has to answer to Roman next week. And Roman's going to be on SmackDown next week. Roman's going to ask the one question to Jey Uso. Are you with us? Or are you against us? It's just that simple. I feel like, in my honest opinion, the bloodline is starting to crumble little by little by little by little. That's me. I think the bloodline, in my honest opinion, is starting to crumble. Now, we didn't get Kevin Owens tonight on the show. We'll probably get him next week when Roman shows up. We'll probably get Kevin Owens on the show next week in Washington, D.C. My question is this. Why didn't Jey Uso help Jimmy when Jimmy was getting attacked by Sami Zayn on the show tonight? In the closing segment of SmackDown tonight. Why didn't Jey Uso help out his brother? Because Jimmy will say, yeah, Jay's always there for me. When I need Jay, Jay's always had my back. He didn't have your back tonight. When you got attacked by fucking Sami Zayn tonight, he didn't have your back. So, Paul Heyman told Jimmy Uso earlier on the show, if you don't set Jey Uso straight, Roman's coming to SmackDown next week, and he'll do it for you. Jimmy didn't do the job tonight. Jimmy didn't set Jay straight tonight. Now guess what? We got Roman coming to SmackDown next week, and Roman's going to fucking fuck shit up next week. And I'm here for it. But I have a question that I know for a fact that nobody in the community is talking about, not even thinking about. Well, maybe some people may be thinking about this. We're getting Roman and Cody at WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship, right? Does Jey Uso cost Reigns the undisputed title at WrestleMania? Because if you really think about it, this whole bloodline story, this whole bloodline faction started with Roman and Jay. What are the odds at WrestleMania that Jay can cost Roman the championship? We know Roman is going to give Jay hell next week when Roman shows up on SmackDown. But isn't it possible that this whole function between Jay not joining the bloodline and Jay has this whole animosity towards Roman, does he take that out on Roman when he's competing against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania in the main event for the championship? It's possible. It's possible here. I don't know. This is what makes this whole storyline so unpredictable between Jay and Roman. Jimmy's still there. Solo is kind of there. Solo's just there as a fucking bodyguard. And Paul Heyman is the wise man. This whole bloodline scenario between now and WrestleMania is going to be all about Roman, Jay, and Jimmy. Most importantly, Jay. Because where does Jey Uso's loyalties lie? We didn't find out tonight. But we kind of in some way, because Jimmy got attacked by Sami Zayn tonight, and Jay wasn't there to help Jimmy. So, if Jimmy couldn't tell Jay, if Jay couldn't tell Jimmy where his loyalties lie, he's going to have to answer to the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, next week on SmackDown. And it should be interesting next week. I'm very intrigued here. I'm very intrigued. Those are my thoughts on the opening, well, not the opening, the closing segment, and also the thoughts on SmackDown tonight. I thought SmackDown was a mid-show tonight. It was kind of meh, if you ask me. But that is it, guys, for the SmackDown review tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show tonight. Your thoughts of the closing segment of SmackDown tonight. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn that bell, guys, for all notifications. Raw review is live on the channel right now, as well as the Elimination Chamber review. Link to both these videos will be in the annotation that you see on the upper right corner of your screen, as well as down below in the description. Make sure you guys follow me on social media. Twitter at The Real Chris with 2 E's and 2 S's. TikTok at The Real Chris, 2 E's, 2 S's. You'll find clips of my Raw review, Dynamite review, SmackDown review on my TikTok. So give it a look on TikTok. I will see you guys on Monday on Raw for a brand new week of content. Until then, guys, I am Chris. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video all over social media. I'll see you guys on Monday for Raw review. Till then, guys, have a blessed night. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. See you guys on Monday for Raw review.